one thing that I had mentioned back in the other video, the last video that I just did, was that I had mentioned that I know a lot about different things regarding e-bikes. You know, building them, putting them together. But I did want to point out that my experience is only for the rear hub motor. I don't have any experience dealing with mid-train motors at all. I've never owned one. It wasn't my idea to buy a Bafang when I first got into it, and so my first bike ended up being a 500 watt rear hub motor, and then so by doing that, it kind of steered me in the direction of following along with that same thing. So that's the reason why I don't even experience with the mid trains. But with that said, I did want to talk a little bit about controllers and batteries. If anybody that's in this crazy game of trying to buy and make custom bikes themselves and not buying one that's already been built by somebody else, you know that there's only a few places where you can actually get controllers, and most of those controllers are on the bottom feeder level. Like they're not worth it. But that's Amazon and AliExpress. Now, obviously, you can get a lot better controllers on AliExpress, but you're looking to have to wait a month to get it, or you're going to pay your soul in shipping to get it sent to you. So, but I've had to buy numerous things through AliExpress. Actually, the kit that I'm on right now that I'm riding was bought through AliExpress, and thankfully the kit was housed in California. So even though I purchased it from China, it didn't have to get shipped through China, and that's the way to go, really, in all honesty, is to find companies that are on AliExpress, and then the shipping is very minimal, and you get it sent to you FedEx or UPS relatively quick. And then there's Amazon. But one thing that I got like the biggest complaint, and I'm pretty sure that everybody else will agree, is there is absolutely no uniform relationship between the people that design the controllers, between them at all. Because when you get these controllers, if you're getting a KT controller, or a CSC controller, the connectors, none of them are uniform. They're all like different connectors that plug in, and then so if you want to say you buy a bike from Amazon, right? You buy 750 watt or whatnot, and then you decide that you want more power, but you don't want to have to buy a whole new bike, and you want to get into the idea of maybe building your own. So you go online and you check out these controllers, and it's ridiculous. I mean, because of that factor there, I had to buy the special connector pack that they sell on Amazon, and it's like a 2 through 6 pin, and then you can just cut the wires and you put the pins on yourselves, and you basically make your own connectors. And I had to get very proficient with that, because basically every controller you get is different from the other one. And then of course, they put a battery connected to it. It doesn't really matter what battery you get. All the controllers, you got to cut the cord, the negative and the positive, and solder the positive and negative of the battery on. So that was just one complaint that I had. It was like, oh my god, can't you guys just kind of somewhat get in order with each other and make them somewhat similar? Because they're definitely not. And then the different styles of batteries. I mean, oh my god. I mean, if you go on, the different shapes, right? I mean, you have the down tube shapes, right? Like Sharks and some of the Halongs. I mean, there's the ones that specifically plug into a back rack, or you have the ones that aren't inside of a lock case, that are the triangle shaped batteries, which can still be Halong, but those ones don't have a lock case that you would have that you clip in and it locks in with a key to the bottom tube. But it's none of those are they're all crazy different too. It's I just kind of wish there was some kind of oversight on the way they were supposed to design them. I mean, it works out now because the more people that get into it to make different things, it allows for more competition, and then more competition you know, allows for people to make their products better. So, I mean, and that's awesome, because just in the last year, I mean, heck, when I bought my first bike, and it was just last year, 60 watt was like crazy. Like 52 watt was like, you know, boom, you know what I mean? You were kicking it pretty good if you had a 52 watt or 52 volt battery and a controller that can handle it. I mean, most of the 48 volt controllers can handle a 52. Actually, most of them can handle 60. Some of them can't. You got to watch out for that, though. But I mean, within 6 months, it was like boom. Now it's 60, and then I mean, not even 10 months later, 72 volts were everywhere. You know, I mean, like it wasn't nothing to see 72 volt. Because, like, to tell you the truth, when I bought my 52 volt in November, I would have got a 72 then, but 72s were so crazy expensive that there was no way that I was going to go into that. I mean, I'm glad I waited, you know. Appreciate that guy right there. You know, I don't know how many times I come across vehicles and I don't want them to stop like that. I don't expect them to stop like that, you know, but I expect them to share the road with me, you know, like you would a vehicle. You both kind of get off the road a little bit, especially on these narrow roads that were literally designed for one vehicle to go down, not two. I mean, talk about being cheap. You know, an extra 3 feet on both sides, you would have a normal sized road for, you know, oncoming traffic. But no, you got to save a little bit of money. But yeah, getting back to the batteries. So, because I actually, my first battery was it was one of those Halong down tube lock-in batteries, you know, Shark, whatever they're called, Dolphin, there's different types, and that was like a 12 amp, and then I ended up upgrading to another Halong, but it was the triangle shaped batteries, and that one didn't come in a case. It was a 52 volt 20 amp hour, and that was a pretty good battery. Now, it didn't work really well with a 1500 watt hub motor. Even with being 20 amp hour, it seriously would only go full throttle for about 16 miles, and it would die. I literally had to die on me after 16 miles. It was pretty unfortunate, because that battery at the time cost about $380 with tax $400. I mean, pretty crazy. But then, you know, I waited 6 months, and I walked out with a 72 volt 60 AH battery. Yeah, you can't see it right now because it's actually between my legs. I did a video on it, pointed it out in a previous video, and that one right there, I walked out the door with paying about, with tax, $1,200. So, I mean, and this thing's a beast. I mean, seriously, doing 40 miles an hour, I can get 200 miles on it. That's 200 miles in you know, between charges, if I really want to do it. Now, I don't go 200 miles and kill the battery, because I don't agree with people that say that you need to completely ice your battery out and then recharge it. I don't think it's good for it. I don't think it's healthy for it. I think it's bad for the battery. It's bad for the BMS. So that's just my take on it. Everybody's got their personal opinion. You know, I'm sure that somebody has been dealing with this for, you know, 5-10 years. They got more experience with it. They might actually be right. I might be 100% wrong. But from my personal experience and how I've seen batteries handle, that's my stance now. If everybody comes along with you know, more convincing information, and I'll definitely switch, because I hate stubborn people. You know, especially if information is presented that's more sound, and you just kind of like, you know, take your ego and fold it up and put it in your pocket. You know. Sometimes that's the best thing to do, but yeah, most people aren't able to do that with the ego. So they're like, no, I know you're right, but I'm still going to argue because I don't want to crush my feeble ego. But whatever, I guess it is what it is. But yeah, go back to the batteries. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that with the controller and the batteries. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and you guys take it easy, and I will be back for another video. Again, please subscribe, reach out to me in the comments, let me know if there is a specific theme that you guys want to talk about. You know, like I just did controllers and batteries, but you want a more in-depth one on controllers, or you want an in-depth one on, you know, just KT controllers, or on display units, or brakes, you know, or frames, or whatever you want, you know. accessories, like the best accessories to use in your bike that are all waterproof. Like my whole bike's waterproof, everything that I got, and it was a very crazy process trying to go through basically the crap products that they have on Amazon to find good ones that weren't like going to cost me an arm and a leg. So hit me up with something like that and we could chat about it. So I'll hear from you guys next time. You guys have a good afternoon, and I'll talk to you soon. Out. Bye.